Hello world, this is Lisa Friedrichsen, your friend and computer science professor with another short screencast from javascript.info. At this point, we just finished part 2, section 1.8, using JavaScript to do styling using HTML classes. And because that word class is used a different way in object-oriented programming languages, I thought it might make sense to just step back and review a few key things that we've just covered. In the context of section 1.8, the word class is referring to the HTML class attribute. And we know that HTML attributes always are entered in the opening tag of an element. If we class something with a word such as keyword, we can go to our styles and using the dot syntax, every element that has that same class value, the same style or set of styles, the same declarations. It's a way to gather up many elements on your web page and style them with one set of definitions. However, in section 1.8, the author also talks about inline styles. And I want to step back for just a moment and talk about the 3 places where you can put your styles. And it's the same 3 places where you can put your JavaScript. In a web page, you can link to an external style sheet. You can embed your styles using the style element, or you can insert styles using the style HTML attribute. Now there's a big difference between where you put your styles, and the same concepts apply to JavaScript. I posted this web page about CSS cascading style sheets on one of my favorite apps, SoloLearn. It's a fantastic mobile app. You will learn a ton from it. It's free if you download it and start going through their tutorials. Posted this code at SoloLearn should you want to examine it more thoroughly. But in CSS and cascading style sheets, the 3 places where you can put your styles are the external style sheet, and here's an example, link element, which typically goes in the head section, an embedded style sheet, which also typically goes in the head section because, of course, the head section is information about the page, and then inline, inside the opening element of a paragraph or H1 or any element, you can use the HTML style attribute, and then there's your style declaration. It's the same thing as in the embedded style sheet or in an external style sheet. You're just connecting it directly to this element. And going from the most specific to the most general, the most specific way you can style is using one of these inline styles. The downside, of course, is that that style declaration only applies to that one paragraph. So it's extremely limiting. And if you want all of your paragraphs to be styled the same way, you would obviously not want to use the style attribute because that would create a lot of redundant code and be incredibly difficult to maintain. If you want to apply styles to one page and one page only, then put them in an embedded style sheet. So in this case, these styles will apply to the H1 and H2 elements, but only for this page. That's why the external style sheet is where you want to put the majority of your styles, because that file can then be linked to 1, 2, 1,000, 2,000 web pages. So this is considered your global style sheet and contains the majority of your styles. An embedded style sheet contains the styles for only that page, and then the inline style contains the styles for only that one element. Now, JavaScript is exactly the same way. You can insert JavaScript using HTML attributes, such as the onclick attribute. And here's my JavaScript. I'm having to mix my HTML and JavaScript syntax. We know that every HTML attribute is followed by an equal sign, is followed by quotation marks, and inside those quotation marks for this attribute, I'm going to stick JavaScript. I'm going to do a little alert. Hi world. And I have to use apostrophes in this case because the quotation marks are already being used by HTML. So in this case, my JavaScript string has to be delimited with apostrophes. That's inline JavaScript. It's bad for all the same reasons that inline styles are bad. This will apply to this one and only one paragraph. Similarly, I can put my JavaScript inside script tags. At the top, in the middle, at the bottom of the web page, any JavaScript that I start writing here will run. It will only apply to this one page, however, and I cannot link this script to other web pages without removing it and putting it in an external file. And when your JavaScript is in an external file, you use the src attribute external.js. I'll pretend that's the name of my file. You use the src attribute to point to it, and then you do not include the JavaScript inside the script tags. You just reference it like this with the opening and closing script tag. So to link to an external style sheet, you use a single link tag. There's no closing link tag. That's a little bit confusing. It's just a unpaired link to reference an external JavaScript file. You do have a paired tag, the script tag, with the src attribute. Now, one more small thing about linking to an external JavaScript file, which is what you're going to want to do for the majority of the time so that you can reuse that JavaScript on multiple pages. Usually people will recommend that you move that script tag down to right before the body closes. And the reason why you want to have your script tag down before the body closes is so that all the HTML has been read and parsed by the browser before you start trying to manipulate it with your JavaScript. So we will typically see the script tags located here, whereas at style sheet, we will typically see that external link in the head section. And it's just nice and tidy to keep all of the information about the page in the head section. Now, if you want to keep your script tag in the head section as well, you can do that. There are ways to make the browser wait and not process that JavaScript until all the HTML and CSS is processed. But without learning those extra techniques, just put your external JavaScript script file right here at the bottom of your web page, right before the body closes, and you'll be sure that all the HTML and CSS has been processed and understood by the browser before you start manipulating it with your JavaScript. Thank you.